So yeah, so this is the use case I was mentioning the whole time. You can basically copy all this stuff,
Okay.
but now do it within the system. So this is
Oh,
where you can add it. You can go
hey,
in
good
here.
sir. Easy, easy. How you doing? Yo.
Sorry.
Is that David? I think your mic is not muted.
Anyway, so yeah, this is where all that's at. We're now finishing up and working on the next piece, which is the calendar scheduling. So this will be done within the next week or two, definitely before the end of the month. And initially, what it's going to happen is this will allow you to connect your Google Calendar. It will then allow you to define your availability, similar to how a Calendly, would allow you to do that. And then what's going to happen is this will prompt the AI chatbot to schedule a meeting with the user. And so you can kind of
That's amazing.
yeah, you can combine now both the lead generation aspects and the auto booking features. So that way you're generating leads for your clients and all that information is being sent to their CRM. Then, so you're building their email list, filling up their pipeline, etc. Then you can have the AI chatbot continue that conversation to encourage them to select a time that works for best for them. And what's going to happen is the bot will actually go to your Google Calendar, and during runtime, during that conversation, it'll go to your calendar and pick up the actual current availability from your calendar. So, if you have lunch scheduled from 2 to 3 p.m., it won't tell that to the user as an available time. It'll only show the available times. And
Can
then,
we use the same feature in our agency landing page?
and what do you mean?
Uh, the page for the agency. So can we use this function ourselves?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're planning on adding this onto our chatbot on our website as like the first main use case to be able to have people book more meetings.
Yeah, we are definitely going to be dog fooding this feature. That's for sure.
Yeah. And so right now, when we launch this feature, it's just going to have Google, but Zoom will come immediately next as an integration. So that way that will automatically create a new Zoom link and add that into the Google event. So just, a similar user experience to something like Calendly or Lead Connector Scheduler from GHL, similar to that. And then the webhook URL. So this will be very similar to the lead generation one. So when somebody submits or answers all of the questions in the form, all of that data is sent to the webhook URL here. That will also happen when the appointment is actually scheduled. So that all that information can be hit to that webhook URL, which will then allow you to update the pipeline further to add in, this is when the user is meeting. This will also allow you to kick off automations for email notifications. This will allow you to, notify the sales team to follow up. This allows you to kind of do all the things based off of that trigger being, of that meeting being created. So, hey, there you go, Tim. We're doing it by Tim's throwing on his hat there. If you can't see, we're going to be doing another release of these. So if you're an agent, if you're on any of the paid plans, you get one for free. So we'll be dropping those in the Discord soon. We're also doing beanies. Shameless plug. Hashtag merch as we go into the holidays, right? So yeah, appointment scheduling, that's like the big thing that we're really focused on getting out over the next week and a half, because that's what we're going to start using to schedule and scale our platform. After that, it's all about just beefiness of the platform. So all of the Like we're really just going to strengthen up every feature after we get this calendar booking out. We're not going to be looking at adding any major new things or major new features. It's mainly just going to be fixing all these things, and making them just extremely more solid than they already are. Tim, you have any other things you'd like to add there? You're muted.
No, I was just going to say that's definitely the plan. And we'll also be kind of scaling up our team in order to support that. So there's going to be a lot of it, but we will get on to other interesting features after that. I'm sure we have a lot of things we're investigating now, some very exciting ones that could lead to some really crazy possibilities, honestly. But yeah, exactly. Right after we get this out, we're going to be refining everything, making sure everything's very smooth, cleaning up some tiny minor bugs. As always, we do have a bug bounty program. So reach out to us if you find any bugs at all. We really need your help and kind of building this platform since we are a small team that's being bootstrapped. But yeah, that is what we're doing.
Yeah, Discord community is going great. So if you're not in there, please join the Discord. We're going to be doing a lot of like exclusives and stuff in there. We're also going to be announcing. So every Tuesday we have open public office hours to anybody, free and paid users. We're now going to be doing a Thursday session where we do only for paid users. So anybody that's a paid subscription, it's a same time, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. PST. And we're going to basically just do more agency strategy stuff, talk about how to do sales, advertising strategies, a lot of social media stuff, because that's one of my big focuses as well. And so all that will be sent out via the Discord. Exactly.
Where can I find this Discord invitation?
We'll put a link in the chat. It's just Stammer.ai/Discord. Yeah, and I totally agree, Graham. We're definitely not going to be adding 1,000 different features like GHL, because that makes it impossible for us to support, which then makes it impossible for you to support. So
got absolutely crazy with GHL. They just kept adding stuff, half of which didn't work when they first released it. I've been with GHL 3 years. So
oh, so then, you know all the email stuff.
I've been there.
Yep. Respect. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I mean, and that's that. I like that you know that, because that's where I'm coming from. Like I want to avoid that, because as an agency, I had to deal with all of that, and then trying to deal with GHL's support being like not getting anywhere. So
it's a nightmare.
And we're doing we're going as fast as we can. We're doing the absolute best we can, and we're trying to bring on more people to help support basically as we scale, because that's the one thing that we are really trying to not lose focus on as we expand is maintain our support. Speaking of, Tim, can you help Christops here manage his or add his custom domain? He has a .online domain with Namecheap, and he was having some problems. So could you could you do a breakout meeting Zoom link and then send him a Zoom, and then you guys could figure that out real quick?
Yeah, definitely. So Christops, what I'll do is I'll just create my own personal Zoom meeting and then send you, unless there is a way to break out from this.
I think just do that.
In this chat or email?
Can you just send me your email, I guess, in the chat, if that's okay?
You can add a breakout room, can't you?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure that out for future.
Or just email me at tim@stammer. There we go. That works.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I will send you an invite.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
So the other thing, so in the Discord, we've added also inside the agency channel, we've added a few, or actually there's one item in there that's in there right now for discussion. So ideally, this is where we're going to start asking your guys' feedback on certain different things. So like one of the things like right now we're trying to figure out how we want to customize or create a login page. And so an example of a login page that we have right now is not this exact, image and layout, but the idea of having 1/4 of the screen or one side of the screen being the actual login side. And then the other major side of the page could be maybe an HTML block or an image selector or something that would allow you to customize this section for your agency in some way that you would want. And so the idea here is I was hoping that if anybody had ideas of login pages or sign up pages that they like in terms of that type of layout, you can add that to the discussion here, and we'll take that into consideration on how we want to customize and design those pages. And so we're going to start doing this more inside the Discord to hopefully encourage more feedback and get your guys' take on certain features.
Sounds good.
The other major thing that we've been working on this week is just beefing out our tutorials. So a lot more tutorials are going to come out with like embeddings and different use cases for the lead gen stuff. So the main one that we've got going right now, obviously, is that the real estate example, which we're going to basically recreate using the lead gen fields, and then basically just simulate an entire funnel using something like GHL or Zapier to qualify them, get them on a meeting, and send them that confirmation. So it's like that couple steps of a process that where the chatbot, like if we're trying to take people from over here and merge them into the client's ecosystem or their CRM, the chatbot is going to be that kind of front lines guy to face off all of those people and answer their questions, capture their information, and then encourage them to book a meeting. And ideally, when you can position it like that, then that allows us to start looking into alternative billing methods. So as an agency, and these are things that we can start talking more about in our Thursday sessions, but pricing strategy, paying per lead. One of the real estate guys that we're working with, they're going away from like a retainer model and going true pay per lead, and trying to do like $200-300 per lead for these real estate investors. And so the value of those leads for this offer is quite high, which then leads them to have the chatbot be worth or valued at so much. So the proposition of the value is so high, plus the guaranteed offer, urgency, scarcity of being able to say, you don't pay anything until we generate your first lead. And as the agency, we can be in that system. We can make sure that we're notified every time a lead is generated because of how we can export the data automatically to our system as well as to anywhere else. And so I think we're going to start to see agencies bill in a different way, where that monthly retainer might be actually a little bit lower, and they're focused more on the pay per lead plus whatever the amount of message credits that the clients are using per month.
Went well.
So lots of interesting stuff. I think these two major features are now allowing us to kind of really see where the value of this lies, and it's all within this lead generation, booking meetings, qualifying people. It's all within that kind of sales lens. So,
can I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, of course.
How do you two things. One is I wanted to demonstrate to someone how much if they say they get 100 leads a month.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to create a simple calculation so the bot says, well, that's worth I know they could do it themselves, but the reality is it would be another thing to kind of stimulate the fact, well, hang on, that's like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. And then suddenly they're going to say, well, do you want one of these then? You know, it's kind of almost a no-brainer. So how do you put that in the prompt? Do you put that as an additional prompt, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so actually, so like a calculation kind of would be put in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, which is that same example I was showing earlier.
I was trying to work out how you'd done it.
Yeah. So this, like, if you read this line by line, you can see that after the initial message is answered, blah, 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 it asks all the stuff. Then it says, then it generates this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is always a quote unquote ballpark answer. So it's not always 100% correct. And I think that's why we can make sure that it's not, like, the whole idea is it's leading the person to the next step. Oh, I want to get more information. I want to talk. So in this scenario, it's always, do you want to see, you know, are you interested? Do you want to talk to an agent about this random number offer? Not random, but, you know, calculated number. So I think it's a variation of just putting in what you want the user to ask, and then just telling it you want to calculate something simply based off of that user's responses.
So you put something like number of leads multiplied by lead equals.
Yep.
Literally that simple. Yeah.
And then I would also probably put in an example in the base system prompt.
In the base system prompt, right? Okay.
Correct. Yeah. I would put in something like, I would write out what you just said, but then I would also put in, like, you know, enter example : if someone enters in 60 leads, you should respond with, and then give them the right answer.
Yep. So assume you're teaching a kid, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. And I know, Tim, do you have any more, like, how can you, I mean, that's essentially it, right? Like, it's you just treat it like a kid. That's a good way to put it.
Just what, GPT 3.5?
No, just in general, the base system prompt, like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, teach it like a kid, be as clear as possible. Also, you want to avoid any kind of like errors in logic. So what I mean by that is, you know, if you do not never contradict stuff, make sure you're not saying something that's contradicting yourself.
All right.
And in some ways, it just takes experience working with it. Like, we continually, Ross and I are learning, you know, daily how to work with it better. But the prompting is everything. The prompting and also the data you put into the system.
Yeah.
I created a video about this, but you want to get it, just like any machine learning model, you want as good it's all about the data, right? If you put bad data in, you're going to get bad results out of the bot. So you want to try to put as clean and relevant and well-formatted data.
Oh, your thing cut out. No, still out.
Right. So if you want to do
Okay.
something like a quiz, how could you do that? Like I for example, I have a property investor website. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it basically asks certain questions. Are you looking at buying an apartment, a house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Mhm.
So how would you do that? Would you put, how can you filter things, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you could do that in two different ways. You
Right.
could have the base system prompts. You could list out all those different questions and just have it be in the conversation, similar to the example that's on the website right now. Or you could have each of those questions be an actual field in the lead generation collection place.
Right.
So you would say, you know, like how many bedrooms or something like that. And then you would put bedrooms as the key. And then this will ask the user to answer this question basically in that flow.
So if it was, can it have an and or kind of answer? So if you answered one thing, you get one question. If you get the other question, you get the other question.
That could be done in the base system prompt with limited, like, you know, you could only do so much logic before it breaks. And that's only going to be working with GPT-4 probably.
Okay. Yeah, I've only used GPT-4. Gave up with 3.5, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's like that type of logic will work to a point. What that point is kind of variable in our past tests. So I don't have like, we don't have a static answer, like you can do 10 things of logic and then it like, so, and this is kind of what Tim means, like we're all kind of, we're still all learning, I think, as a society, kind of how all this stuff works.
Yeah.
And then how to frame that within the use cases that we're trying to do.
Okay. Would you also clone a bot if you wanted to try something else? Clone the original bot, so you've got the original, and then play with the new one, if you so to speak.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Especially if there's like a good amount of QA data that's in there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that typically when we start doing debug mode with people on their bots, when they're like, oh, the answer is terrible, or there's no answer at all, or it's wrong, and we go into debug mode, and all the results that get returned to debug mode, all of the text that's returned in those results are just like random Spotify links, and it's like, where is that coming from? And it's like, oh, it's in some random footer on some random web page that was scraped that has no context or relation, and why that was returned as the most probable contextual match. I don't know.
I did one with Tim, and we looked at the prompt, and basically it was just too complicated. The thing just, it didn't make sense. You asked it to, it also remembers the thing at the beginning first, doesn't it? Most importantly.
Like in the prompt, you mean?
Yeah, I've noticed if you give the prompt, if you word the prompt one way, it will bias towards the thing you asked it to do first, as opposed to the things you ask it second and third.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting, because you have to kind of think how the prompt's written.
And that would be interesting to test, to go in there and be like, rank, this is what you should focus on first, colon.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different ways that you could kind of structure that. And I think this is, as much as I hate the term, this is what the prompt engineering thing is like trying to just use, how do we use natural language to actually very minutely do the thing that we want to do.
Yeah.
And
without having to program each step.
Yeah. And interestingly, Ross, it kind of like training the bot with the base system prompt almost mimics like how you would train a human. It's almost like writing out SOPs and stuff. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, that's kind of how my prompts are looking now. They're much more like SOPs.
Yeah.
Like here's how you do that. Anyway, it's very interesting.
Maybe that's a good way to explain it to people. Like instead of it being a prompt, it's more of an SOP.
Yeah.
Where there's, rules and things.
Because you think, well, what the hell am I prompting?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to think too much, do you? In reality, we're not using these things to generate random nonsense. We're using these things to do specific tasks. And I think once you start giving it too much kind of leeway, if it was a human being, imagine you just said a kid can run around and do what he likes, it'd be carnage. If you can kind of pen it into where you want it to go, you reduce the risk of everything kind of falling apart in the edges.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like a human, there's always the chance that 5% of the time it may not work as intended, but because it's working 95% of the time as intended, it's saving you money or it's making you money. So it's a different way of thinking about it, because with code, because I used to write code, I have written code for Stammer for this specifically, but I used to sling code for a living, and it's a different way of thinking about things, right? It was always exact. You expected it to always behave a certain way. With these LLMs, there's a little bit less of that. And so it's new. It's a new way of people for thinking about it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can I ask on that base system prompt, when you set up a new account, so someone comes in and sets up a free account, for example, the base system prompt that's in everybody's account is the same and is quite bland, is vanilla.
Yes.
What I found when I'm talking to clients is that that's the first thing, obviously, we go in and start tweaking.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to as an agency, is there a way to like have our own prompt that we can put in, which was sort of like, say we're going for a certain market sector,
Mhm.
and we know that, let's say in engineering or manufacturing, these are the type of things that it wants to ask versus the type of questions you might ask in real estate or education or healthcare. That base system prompt can't be generic for everybody. You know?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's a great idea. So
We
do you want to
had-
be able to define like a base system prompt that's available to all of your sub accounts?
As the default.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the moment, when a new account's created, either on subscription or on the free trial,
Hmm.
that base system prompt, probably about 3 or 4 lines of prompt is in there. It's like baked into the system.
Yep.
Right.
It's whether or not, as an agency, we could create our own baked-in version
Mhm.
Yep.
that we would roll out
Yep.
after,
We-
because we're starting to use the system, and then it helps us with getting over that initial sort of onboarding stage.
Definitely.
We will add that.
That was actually a topic of conversation in the Discord yesterday. Somebody asked
Was it?
for that exact feature. Yeah, Brock.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that shouldn't be too difficult. And then we also need to, I think maybe we start with the ability to define one baked in system prompt, but I could see the need to, have like a drop down and stuff too. Like
Well,
one for this type of person.
so the drop down for sure. Tim, when you think of this, would it be most beneficial to be able to set that base system prompt for your free trial users, or your, like, when a user signs up
Hmm.
in the section where you
Agency, maybe.
put in the numbers for
Which,
the amount of credits for free trials?
yes, that's exactly what I was
Other
thinking.
Tim,
Agency.
do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you mean. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because then you can manage that within
Yeah.
that.
So it's clearly obvious what it is what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah. So here, I'll bring it up. So where?
That sounds a good idea, that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because if you're talking to an engineering company, you want something different. So if you're talking to as you say, a real estate agent.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, right there.
right here, we enter in, here's how many free trial credits each new sub account would get. I'm thinking right here, we could add a box that's like, here's my base system prompt.
Yep.
And then that would be the one that is by default created when,
A new chatbot is created for this.
yeah.
For this entity. Yep.
And then, so I think that's version 1 of this.
Hmm.
Version 2. So you mentioned there's kind of some different niches, different use cases. How, like, do you have a vision of how you would be able to do those differently, separate from what we just looked at?
Possibly you could have you could start, like, a phase 2 could be that you had a base system prompt which is used for free trials.
Uh-huh.
So it just gets them going straight away. They don't have to do too much tweaking of that base system prompt.
Hmm.
That's different for a paid subscription where they're a bit more invested in the system and they're expecting that little bit more. So the prompt could be a bit more detailed.
Okay.
And also in the prompt, we could make it very obvious that, as you've done in some of your tutorials, is, square brackets, change company name here, or do
Yeah.
this and do this. That might be sufficient, just to get it up and running.
Got it. Okay, so then two sections, one for the free trial template and then another one for new subscriber template.
Yeah, there's a bit more kind of depth to it.
More depth. I like that.
If you do it by industry or you did it by use case, you could end up with thousands of
Thousands. Yeah.
and
And I think that's where the marketplace comes
True.
into play.
Yeah.
Like, so people could be like, marketplace, I just clone this to my account real quick.
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. I've got that written down, Ross.
Would it make sense to have both the free trial and the paid versions of those be in that same agency profile section?
I think so. Just off, eventually we may break that profile into like multiple pages, but for now, yeah.
The other thing I was thinking is like, what if we made it like per package? Like you could define,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
like you could define a prompt per package. So that like when someone signs up for your highest tier plan, that gets you the ultimate, the ultimate prompt versus the standard tier, which could be like, not that, I don't know.
Could you have at the bottom of there where you've got edit package, you say edit base system prompt?
Edit prompt. Yep. So this would bring you to like the the section.
Mhm.
It could be managed within there as well.
What we could have in here is like select the prompt that you want to have be as the base system prompt.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And then there will be a little tab button here. It's like, you don't have any prompt templates yet? Click here to add templates.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to suggest. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be better, wouldn't it?
So Tim, what if we add another thing under Chatbot called templates?
Yeah. Prompt templates. Yeah.
Prompt templates. And then that could be the kickoff of this marketplace epic.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That's a good way to approach it iteratively. Definitely. Okay. And then you define in that page your various prompt templates, name them, save them, and then you can use them in other locations.
Yep. And then
in
that
the
way
application.
Your customers could also use them in a drop down when they create a new bot. They could also select those.
Yep.
Throwing this out there, we could also make it to where you could have free ones and paid ones. So like you could just make a upsell, like, oh, you want this, you want a fine, like, yeah, you start your trial with the standard prompt placeholders.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want the e-commerce specific prompt template? It's $50 one-time cost. Select, check out, I don't know. Thinking out loud.
Well,
would that be useful at all? Or would you guys ever do that? Would you ever want to sell prompt templates?
I think, yeah, but it would be a few dollars rather than tens of dollars, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because that way, then they would keep buying them. If it was $5 a time, then I'm not gonna be too bothered about burning $50 if I'm trying something out. Whereas if they were $50 a time, then I'm going to be really picky and choosing. That might be a barrier for them to be used in that way.
If they tried 2 or 3, they now need 2 bots instead of 1 bot.
Yeah, there is that as well. Yeah,
I think these are all
forces them into their own upsell, doesn't it?
Yeah. These are all great expansions on the marketplace idea, because I think that will allow for a lot of these, or it'll allow for us to have like a home for a lot of these concepts of creating, sharing, selling, cloning, reusing templates, because that's, like Tim was saying, that is the beef of the platform.
With accounts and setup of new accounts, can I ask just one more question? So when a client onboards and they've got their new chatbot, they have the option in the appearance to state the little tag message, so powered by, for example. So what I've tended to do is I've put powered by Bobby.ai, which is great, but it's in there, so it helps us then if we're going to go and market to other clients, and they can say, well, yeah, they're using one of our chatbots. These guys are using one of our chatbots. Is there a way to have that mandatory for new signups? So the moment it's, but when you create a new account now, it's blank, and you have to add it in.
Where's that then?
In
so that comes under
my appearance.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I'll show.
It's you call it the tagline label, and you have the option to show it or not show it.
Yeah.
From an agency point of view, but I'm just from a new subscriber point of view. Could we make that mandatory, let's say, for a standard subscription versus a pro subscription?
I think this leads me to think we need the ability to customize what a user gets fully from a free trial point of view to a paid point of view. So like, yeah, we could just add like a little checkbox there that's required or not. And I think that would satisfy this use case. But I think this leads to a larger topic that brings me to think about like, there should be a view that allows you to like, this is what you get when you get a free trial. This is the prompt. This is the tagline is shown. This is how many credits you get. This is like the colors it looks like for whatever reason versus what somebody gets when it's a paid.
Yeah.
And there's an interface to manage and save those things.
So you like you despec the free trial.
Yeah. Yeah. Like feature control almost, but within the bot.
That makes logical sense.
I'm thinking,
Which is quite common in SaaS, isn't it? You know, if you go for a free trial, you always get the HubSpot, for example. It will always say powered by HubSpot. If you're on a paid version, you do have the option to remove that in the chat interface.
Okay. So Tim, can we open an issue to simply add in under the section where, because I think for right now, we're just going to get this done.
Mhm.
So for right now, we'll just add it into here or here. That
Into agency
says
profile.
a
Okay.
checkbox selector that says for free trials, you always want it to say powered by, and then have a text box that allows you to place, paste in whatever you want to say. And then that basically will override that setting in the individual chatbot, which then allows you or the customer to go in and, or no, that would only allow you to change it basically.
Okay. Got it.
And then we'll talk more about this idea of managing the two aspects, because I think that'll be a enhancement that we can add later.
Have I got time for another couple of questions?
Of course, please.
Sorry. So
You're good.
because I'm there ready to launch now. What we're trying to sort out now is the automation flows. So we've got two automation flows. One, we're struggling a little bit at the moment with getting our Stripe to talk to our CRM system. But that's something we'll take offline and
Okay.
we use a platform called Force24, which is an email marketing UK email marketing platform. Just sort of finding out and fine-tuning how we get the Zap to work between there. But my other question is, I believe that we're going to get most of our signups initially on the free trial. So how do we, within the agency dashboard, how do we get those leads into an automation flow into our CRM system? So at the moment, we just get an email to say, great news, you've got a new sign up, such and such is signed up for a free trial.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to add Tim, we need to add a webhook that allows users to define when a new free trial is created.
Oh yeah, that's easy. Okay.
We'll add that very quickly.
When free trial. Yeah, we do that all
That'd be
day.
awesome, because instantly they get that. We can put them into an automation flow that says, thanks for signing up.
Yep.
Here's the number of credits you've got. This is what you can do with these credits. And then a couple of days later, have you had a good time using the system? Are you ready to upgrade? And it just takes care of itself then.
Yep. Perfect. We will definitely get that added. We should, that's duh. Like,
yeah, we didn't think about that.
Thank you for that suggestion. That's a great one.
Okay. And then
gosh, missed that one. Dang.
Last question really comes down to and I think, was it Dan touched on this the other day, the affiliates and how the affiliate program might work. So on our front facing website, if we want to create an affiliate program, I know you guys use Rewardful.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do we just go and create an account with Rewardful and put our link in there, create an affiliate code, and just make that available to clients?
Yes, because that is the native integration with Stripe. So like there's two sides of how that works. The first side is embedding their Rewardful code on your website or our system.
Mhm.
And I think the website, you can just add that in the header code. And I think with one of the things that is on our roadmap, which is adding a header code section that allows you to paste in that code, will satisfy that first part. The second part is the actual transaction itself, which is all native and held within Stripe. And that's why we use Rewardful, because the Rewardful is like an in-platform Stripe integration.
Right.
So we're not actually like, we obviously are doing those transactions, but Rewardful is the one that's like processing it, or like seeing it and then doing the deductions, and then at the end of the month or whatever being like, here's how much you need to pay people. And the wonky thing that I hate about Rewardful is it doesn't actually pay them. It just tells you how much you need to pay them. So there's still a full manual step there that's like, this person gets this much, this person gets this much, and then you have to go to PayPal and then type, like you have to do it manually. It's ridiculous.
It won't
But
pay
that-
it out of the Stripe balance. No.
No. And I'm like,
Why?
it makes no sense. It makes no
Yeah.
sense. But that's literally how everybody does it. So
Okay. Yeah.
maybe that's something we should just remake and rebuild, huh, Tim?
Yeah, that's our next project, right? But I don't know why that is. Why is it using PayPal? There must be some
So
reason.
annoying. Yeah. I don't know.
It's literally using Stripe and it's reading our Stripe. Anyway, way to look into that eventually.
PayPal.
Maybe more users or affiliates like are just PayPal users. So then I don't know. It doesn't make
Maybe
any sense.
because otherwise they'd have to sign up for a Stripe account. But that could be easy. We sign people up for Stripe accounts every day. So I don't know.
But yeah, short
I think
answer.
maybe most people have got a PayPal account already, and it's just easier for them to validate someone when they're onboarding onto their affiliate program.
Probably.
Maybe. And to be fair, so we've been doing it manually, like literally I go in and type in the amounts, but it hasn't been a huge amount yet. But I think there is a way, Ross, whenever it gets larger, like they can download an Excel file and maybe it does off of that. I don't know.
I think you're
maybe-
right. It's still ridiculous. Like it's
Yeah.
still like you're downloading an Excel file to pay, like
And then you have
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
what is it? What is this? 2023? Come on.
Okay, but Rewardful would be the recommended rather than another platform that we set up and then try and integrate.
That's the one. The only other ones I've tried in the past, but we don't currently use, is First Promoter. That's the one that GHL actually uses as their internal system.
Changed originally though from something else.
Oh, really?
That wasn't the first baby.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like you could, I've gone down so many rabbit holes, and we just ended up going with Rewardful because at least we know that it's tracking everything correctly, and then giving us the export amounts. Like we're just dealing with it because like we have to. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. I haven't found anything easier. So if you do, let me know.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
So can I book a technical call with somebody after this just to walk me through the reason why my subscriptions are just not getting picked up by my CRM when I try and do the Zap?
Definitely.
That'd be
Tim.
cool if that could do that.
Yeah,
know-
definitely. I have a call after this, but I can send you my calendar link and we'll get something set up.
In the next day or two, that'd be cool. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You've got my email, right?
Just send it to me. Is it what is the email? Because I think you opened a ticket, right?
I did open a ticket the other day about something else, which got resolved actually.
Okay.
That was a bit of user error on my part.
Here's the
Nailed
link.
it.
There's
There
the
we go.
count.
Yeah, just use that link, please.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you.
Because I missed the beginning. When is the appointment thing happening?
Before the end of the month.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
We've
I'll
been
watch the replay. I think.
we've been grinding on it. Like that's the big thing. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that we've been doing on our platform or on the customer facing website too is just expanding to be more about the platform. So instead of it just being chatbots, like this whole kind of larger idea of selling the platform as the value add, not just and what does the platform do? It does all these things: qualifies users, generates meetings, books generates leads, books meetings, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many more like tangible advantages now, rather than it just being, oh, it knows everything about a business, it can answer questions.
Yeah, that's looking really cool.
So yeah, we're pretty stoked on it. It's getting there.
Great job. Good to be in at the beginning.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, what's exciting, I mean, both Tim and I love doing these office hours because like not only is it just like fun, but like this kind of back and forth of being able like, what do you guys want? How, like, I've never experienced that, or this type of feedback from something. So it's just so cool and rewarding to work on something that people like.
Not only that, you don't end up with at FeatureGate where you've got 100 features that one person wants and nobody else actually even knows what they're going to have it use it for.
Yeah.
Because it's better to have
Exactly.
because you can't sell more than maybe half a dozen features at any one time, even if you were trying to. But you can add on other features if they're there, if you need it. But 90% of people don't want them or need them.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that we do is all going to be expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's not like we're going to come out with a completely new thing or new tool.
Yeah.
If it does, it's probably going to be broken out into its own thing, because it's not, we don't want to muddy the waters from what we're building because of those experiences we mentioned about GHL. So
yeah, they kind of, you don't even know what it does anymore.
Yeah. Or what? How to sell it. It's just ridiculous.
Is there any plan to have like an agency marketplace as well?
For yes, but what are you thinking?
I'm just so we can sort of see who else is in the club. It's good to know who's doing what with which markets and more as a community thing, so that we can share ideas. And
I think the Discord would be really great
probably
for that, which
Discord's probably the
is
best
happening. So
yeah, we could add like a channel in the Discord or something that's like share your niche or something. I don't know if that would be.
It's really important because like figuring out the niche and the value proposition, I think it's one of the toughest things. And that brings me on to, if you have any tips for outreach. Like I'm purely on cold outreach, cold email, and social media outreach. So if you have any tips for our specific use cases, not specific niches, but specific use cases with this AI agent, as you said the other day, anything could help out, because it's really like it's new to me, obviously, and trying to put it all together. Anything will help.
Which channel are you focusing on most? Email, DMs, cold calling, walking into businesses?
That's the thing. I've said the most emails for sure.
Okay.
But I think the strategy would be to send emails, follow up on them, obviously, and also to the same client or same lead, send the DM, send the LinkedIn message, and so on. Yeah.
Got it. So my recommendation is pick one pick one thing with one channel and disregard all the others until you feel like you've fully exhausted that one channel with whatever offer that is that you're trying to run.
Right.
And so for example, like if we look at cold email, because there's so many platforms that we can do cold email with, the value add that your first email should add should not be, let me know if I want to send you this video about my thing, or let me know to get on a call. Like, it should be similar to how I position the content and value upfront with no ask. Hey, do you want to get more meetings booked on your calendar? Great. Here's a free blog post to show you the top 5 things on how to do that. Cheers. Right?
Right.
The whole idea
Yeah.
is like, get the cold into some sort of warm situation. And most of the time, like, we can do that by just simply asking for it. Like,
Right.
and it's not that we're asking for a meeting or a sale or anything. It's just like, hey, I know that you're running this business. Would you like more business? And, some variation of that, and then provide them with some sort of free value. That transition of going from cold to warm, wherever that landing page is, that's where you have an AI chatbot that can collect their information and, and then encourage them to book a meeting with you. And then that's
Right.
how you can get them onto a meeting. And on that first meeting, that's when you can try to learn more about their business, to potentially set them up for another follow-up call, to depending on how your sales
Yeah,
funnel
yeah,
works.
yeah.
But it's all about
Right.
selling the call. Like, sell you and the call rather than selling
Not the thing. Oh,
not the
right.
thing.
Okay, that's
And the reason why someone would even talk to you or in the first place is because you have a system that will generate them more leads, book them more meetings on their calendar, all the things.
so. This is really great. Thank you, first of all, and a little more on the whole value first, like free value first.
Mhm.
Of course, I've heard it, and I've been doing research for this, and this is obviously something that is very much said. But in our use case, you mentioned blog post. What would be the free value add? Like, would that be linked to our what do you call them? Our website with let's say the Informe a research post that you sent us a while ago about the how chatbots can improve businesses, or what would it be?
Something very easy and quick. So I always try to
Right.
go off of, like, here's the top 5 thing, like listicle articles are the best. So you could
Yeah.
do, here's the top 5 things to achieve X. Here's the top 5 things to achieve X without doing Y. There's kind of a lot of these different variations that you can manage, and have ChatGPT help you write some of these ideas, and then whatever sounds and feels good to you, and it's quick and snappy. Another idea could be, here's the top 5 AI tools to do X, Y, or Z. And then number 2 or number 3 is your website. So you start with number 1 in that list is something that everyone's familiar with and everyone knows and has high trust value. Number 2 is just a little bit less known, maybe a little bit less trust value. Number 3 is your website, your stuff.
Really interesting. All right. So
right?
the list would be inside the email message itself.
No, it would be inside the blog post, because you
Oh, right,
want to
sorry, yeah.
convert from email, seeing the email and trusting you enough, because you're not trying to sell them on anything.
Yeah.
Like, imagine someone opening their email, like if they're on the toilet and they're like scrolling through their email, like, oh, I want to see what this guy, like, click, and then they're on the web page. So it's just that it's passive. It's very passive.
Yeah.
And once they're on the website, you've got them in your pixel. You can start retargeting. Hopefully you can capture their email. Hopefully they engage with the chatbot, at which point they'll capture the person's email address or information,
Yep.
at which point, and so it's like, that's, if you can get them from over here to over here in a way that makes it such a low, such a low barrier.
Right.
That's the goal.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's really great.
You're welcome.
As always. It's really great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other last questions or things, chat?
No, it's been good, useful. Thank you.
Pretty helpful. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for joining. I'll post a bunch more updates in the Discord. Yeah.
I'll need to turn my Discord notifications on because I haven't really interacted with Discord in a while, and this is a important thing to keep my eye on. So
Same.
So-
Yeah. This is my first kind of jaunt back into Discord since like 2017.
right.
I basically went away from it during the whole crypto boom, but now I'm coming back because it seems like
Coming back
like all
strong.
these major, like Tim was showing, like the Stripe community is in Discord. Like,
Oh yeah.
seems like the place to be. Anyway, alrighty. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Take care. See you next week.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye, guys.